Yeah, hello everybody. Yeah, today we'll start on complex number. We'll try to understand why this concept of complex number came. So for that, I will say that till now we have only discussed about real numbers. Square of a real number is always greater than or equal to 0. Okay? Square of this. So suppose you have a real number like 1, 5, 9 like this. So if you take a root of this, so you will get some result, okay? Whether it's a rational number or irrational number doesn't matter, but you can take a root of that. Suppose you have the square as less than 0. So if the suppose square is -1, so what will happen? -1, -4, -5. If you take root of this, is this possible? Is this possible? Till now it was not until the concept of complex number came. So root over of -1, we can write this, but there is no meaning of this one till this point. But after this we will show you how to deal with these things. First thing is that what is root over of -1? When we try to solve any problem or solve any equation of this kind where x square was negative, so for that there was a thinking that how to get the value of x, because x becomes root over of minus something. So for that concept of imaginary number came. Then what was the thinking is that -6 was broke into two parts like this. So the positive root, this part was kept intact, and the negative, the number -1, which when got multiplied with 6 gave rise to -6, actual minus number. Okay, so from that -1 was separated and root -1 was replaced with I. That I was named as imaginary unit. Okay, this is the, you can say, smallest unit of imaginary number. And one special thing regarding this is, this imaginary number is, so till now when we multiplied root x into root y, it was always root xy. But suppose both are negative, so in that case what we can write? We can write x as -1 into x and y as -1 into y. So it becomes I root x and it becomes I root y. So actually it is I square root xy. See, it's not a simple multiplication, because if you would have done simple multiplication, it would have give you result like root xy, but this is not true. When two negative numbers are there, then root x into root y will always follow the multiplication rule after converting this minus sign with I square, so that I comes into play and then you do the normal multiplication. Okay, so this is one exception. So while dealing with this algebra of complex numbers, you need to a little bit careful. And now how this can be represented? A complex number z, suppose z is complex number, normally it is denoted by z. It can be represented by this, because if the imaginary quantity, if, suppose you have 2 plus 3, suppose you have 2 plus 3, but if any of this gets multiplied with I, or you can say any of these has a component multiplied as I, then it becomes either 2 plus I3 or if it gets if I is multiplied with 2, then it's 3 plus 2y. In that case, total this total number 2 plus 3i becomes a complex number, even though it has one term, that is 2, that is a purely real number. Okay, even though as the complete number will be called a complex number. So z is a complex number where x and y are real. Okay, these are real. Here x is called the real part and y is, this is called the imaginary part. Okay, this is called imaginary part. If suppose there is a complex number a plus ib which is equal to c plus id, then it is always a equal to c and b equal to d. It's always true. It can be proven. Suppose this is equal to this, so a minus c equal to, we take I to the other side, so it will become d minus b. Now squaring both sides, we get this equal to I square, it is minus 1 into d minus b whole square, implies a minus c whole square plus d minus b whole square equal to 0. So see, when we represent a complex number in the form of x plus iy, x and y are real numbers where I is a imaginary unit or imaginary number, you can say I. So this I makes the whole this number as a complex number. Okay, so here also a, b, c, d are real. So in this equation, if a and c are real and d and b are real and the square of these two are 0, that means a minus c equals to 0, because this whole square is always greater than equal to 0, because square of a real number is always greater than equal to 0, and this is also greater than equal to 0. So a minus c equal to 0 and d minus b equal to 0. So this means a equal to c and d equal to b. So see, a equal to c, d equal to b. So whenever we have the equation where both side are complex number, or one side is complex, other side is real, anything, we have to keep in mind that both side real part should be equal to the other side real part, and one side complex should be equal to other side of complex. So we can write like by equating the real and imaginary part on both sides, then you can write a equal to c and b equal to d. Okay. So now there is again another concept for z, because z is what? X plus iy. There is a conjugate complex. If z is x plus iy, then if we replace the imaginary part I with minus I, then this x minus y iy is called conjugate complex, and it is denoted by z bar. This is called conjugate complex of z. This is called conjugate complex of z. And z again, so if we take a conjugate complex of any number, so you have to just replace I with minus I. So suppose if you take z bar, you know z bar, so what is conjugate complex of z bar? So take one more bar and it becomes x minus I will be replaced with minus I, so x plus iy equal to z. So this is one property, like z bar again bar, that becomes actually z. Okay, what will be z plus z bar? That is, z is this, z bar is this, so it is 2x. It is a purely real number. Z minus z bar equal to what? Simple, this equal to 2iy. It is a purely imaginary number. Now we will see z bar. What this is? Let's multiply. it becomes x square minus iy whole square. So I square is minus 1, so it is x square plus 1. This is also a real number. Okay, so if you take z by z bar, so it will be x plus iy by x minus iy. So now we have to solve this, because see, a plus ib or x plus ib, in this format we have to derive any complex format, then we can surely say that it is a complex number. So what I will do, I will multiply with conjugate of x minus iy in the denominator. So this portion becomes actually whole square. Now let's solve this. This x minus iy into x plus iy, what it is? X square minus iy whole square, and this is x square plus iy square plus I into 2xy. So this is x square minus y square, and this is I into 2xy. Here x square plus y square. So x square minus y square, x square minus y square by x square plus y square plus I into 2xy by x square plus y square. So a plus ib, where x, y are real, so this part is real and this part is real. So a plus ib, like x plus iy, it is represented in this form. So z by z bar is also a complex number. Okay. Suppose there are two numbers. Suppose there are two complex numbers, like z1 is this, z2 is x2 plus iy2. So z1 plus z2 and conjugate of this one, conjugate of summation of z1 plus z2 equal to what? Let's add z1 plus z2 is what? x1 plus x2 plus I into y1 plus y2. I just added these two and taking conjugate. Conjugate means simply I will be replaced with minus I. Let's separate it. x1 minus iy1 plus x2 minus iy2. So becomes, this is z1 bar plus z2 bar. So this is one property, like z1 plus z2 bar, it is z1 bar plus z2 bar. Okay. Similarly, if you take minus, so here it will be minus, when we simply, sorry, it will not be here minus, because when we minus, it will be x1 minus x2 and y1 minus y2. Okay. So I will make this portion as minus and this portion as minus. Okay. This is okay. Now what it is? Now you are taking conjugate. Okay. So if you take conjugate, then this plus y will be minus y. So till now it is okay. Till now it's okay. Now x1 minus iy1, then this will be minus. Okay. This is minus x2, so minus common, x2 minus iy2. Okay. So this is z1 bar, this is z2 bar, only the sign gets changed here. So z1 minus z2 bar becomes z1 bar minus z2 bar. This one was for the subtraction. Now when we take a bar of multiplied value, then what it becomes? x1 plus iy1 into x2 plus iy2, and take a bar of this one. So let's simplify this. x1 x2 plus I into x1 y2 plus I into x2 y1, multiply I square y1 y2, that means minus y1 y2. So let's rearrange x1 x2 minus y1 y2 plus I into x1 y2 plus x2 y1 and the bar of this one. So we'll take conjugate. So I will be replaced with minus I. Okay. Now suppose what you do, this is the result, and if you try to find out z1 bar into z2 bar, that means x1 minus I y1 into x2 minus I y2. In that case multiply, let's solve it, x1 real number, these two when you multiply I square y1 y2, so this one, and again you multiply x1 with this, so you will get x1 y2 and this one, so get x2 y1. See, so z1 z2 bar is equal to z1 bar into z2 bar. Okay, so similarly for division also you can have a just verification, but the formula or the property is z1 by z2. If you take whole bar, it becomes z1 bar by z2 bar. Okay, so you can also simplify like this one. You can make x1 plus I y1 by x2 plus I y2. Then again, as I said, z1 by z2 should be modified to a plus ib form. So denominator should be multiplied with conjugate of this, same thing, conjugate of same complex number which is in the denominator. So here x1 plus I y1 into x2 minus I y2. Okay, now at the bottom it will be x2 square plus y2 square. Yes, x2 square plus y2 square here, and then whatever you will get here, if you can represent it this, so a by this plus I into b by this. Okay, again if you take z1 bar by z2 bar and then try to again simplify this into a plus ib form, you will have that both sides matches. So z1 by z2 whole bar equal to z1 bar by z2 bar. When I said bar, it means it is a conjugate. Let's now see how we represent a complex number in a complex plane or in a graph. See, this is x o x dot, this is what, y o y dot, this is normally the xy plane we know, and any point pxy is represented like this. Okay, this is origin, so if this is point p, so this becomes x unit, o to p and o to q, and q to p, this is y. Okay, so if this is suppose theta, that is the angle with the positive x-axis, so if this distance OP is r, so what is x equal to r cos theta and y equal to r sin theta. Okay, now this p can be represented with x and y, these two values, in the form of x comma y. In two-dimensional geometry we have seen it. In complex number, this xy is, this point p also can be represented by x plus iy. Okay, xy, this point is equivalent, this pxy, x comma y is equivalent to x plus iy while drawing this. Okay, while representing a point. Now before we go into the detail of this one, let's see what is this. This is OQ is x. Now if you take a equal of OQ as OQ dot in the left side, what is this? This is x. So length is x, if I cut the equal length x from here, actual coordinate here is x comma 0, but here it comes minus x comma 0. So what we can say that if the point Q is rotated anti-clockwise by 2 times of 90 degree, then x becomes minus x. Okay, x becomes what? Minus x. So in complex number we can see it is equivalent to multiplying with I square x. So if you rotate Q 2 times anti-clockwise and Q gets to the y-axis in a new point, that is called Q dot, then what we can say that it rotated a 180 degree, that is 2 times of 90 degree, and then we get x is getting converted to minus x, so we can think like it is getting multiplied with I square. So when you compare this I square and this, so we can say that if I is what? When you multiply I with something, that means it is a 190 degree rotation in the anti-clockwise direction. So I means if you multiply, suppose it is a x comma 0. X comma 0 means it is a x plus I into 0. It is in the complex form. We can write in the x plus iy format. The y part is 0. So see, xy is equivalent to x plus iy. So when x comma 0 is point is there, so x plus I into 0. If you rotate 190 degree, full 90 degree, that means multiplying this with I. So what it becomes? X plus I0 into I. So Ix plus 0. That means first real part, then write imaginary part. Again this a plus ib format, what it is equivalent to? It is equivalent to point 0 comma x. Okay, if xy can be written as x plus iy in the complex number form, so 0 plus ix is representing a point 0 comma x. So what is 0 comma x? 0 comma x, this one, on the y axis. Okay, it's on the y axis, x unit above, so that Q gets when Q is rotated anti-clockwise by 90 degree, Q falls to the y-axis, and when it intersects, let's suppose another point Q double dot. Okay, so Q double dot is 0 comma x. So how can you reach that? Simply the same concept, multiply by I. You rotated 90 degree means multiply by I. So you get 0 plus Ix equal to point is 0x. Okay. Now see, Px plus Iy. This is one form of representing a complex number. But here I can, as I know, x equal to r cos theta or y equal to r sin theta, we can write z equal to x plus iy equal to r cos theta plus I into y. Y is r sin theta. So actually we don't need this part anymore. We will delete this. So r cos theta plus ir sin theta. So we are taking r common. It is becoming cos theta plus I sin theta. Okay. So this is called, in this format, z is represented. This is called polar form. Okay, because with the value of r and theta we can uniquely identify the point P. Like in the xy form, in x plus iy, if you know x and y both, then only you can uniquely identify the point P. But here you need to know r comma theta. So it is called polar form or modulus amplitude form. Modulus amplitude, why it is so? This r is this distance. This is actually mod z. And what is mod z? Mod z is when z is x plus y, mod z means root over of x square plus y square. See, this is x, this is y, so this is definitely root over of x square plus y square, this OP. So this is mod z. Okay, so r is root over of x square plus y square, and cos theta sin theta, this theta you know, it is the angle between the positive x axis and the this line. So r is called modulus. Okay, modulus equal to mod z. Theta is argument of z, or amplitude of z. Okay, amplitude of z, written as ARZZ, or amplitude of z. Okay, clearly theta can have many values. Okay, theta can have many values. So like theta is, if it is 30 degree, so if you rotate by 2 pi, again come here, so 2 pi plus theta, it is also same. Again 4 pi plus theta, again same. So theta can have infinite number of values. So argument of z or amplitude of z can have infinite number of value. But there is something called principal argument or principal amplitude, that is denoted by, again same, AMPZ or ARZZ, but there is a small difference here. I am writing A in a smaller case. Okay, it is theta, it is also theta, earlier was also theta, here also it is theta, but here one small difference is there, that theta has some value, it has some boundary. Okay, within that theta should be considered, like theta has infinite number of possibility value of theta has infinite number of different kind of choices. So the value which falls within this range, okay, is called the amplitude of theta, or ARZ of z, means it is a principal value. Okay, it is called a principal value. Now what is the value of theta? Theta equal to, we know from this picture, what is theta? Tan theta is y by x. So what theta is? Tan inverse y by x. Again I will represent some more cases here in the diagram, like how to represent different type of complex numbers. We will assume the same thing which we assumed earlier, that is z equal to x plus iy. So same complex plane, that is, this is xy plane we knew, but it is in complex number we call it z plane. Okay, z plane, because z means complex number will be represented here. Now if it is point P, that is x plus iy implies z, this is z. Okay, so I represent it like this is x, this is y. What is minus z then? Minus z means what? If z is x plus iy, minus z is minus x into I into minus 1. Okay, so I will come, this is suppose A, then OA equal to x, I will cut OB with same value x, but this is minus x, it is on the left side, minus x, again minus 1. So I have to go down by the same value y, AP equal to y, so I will come down here till this, suppose it will be C. So see, minus x minus y, so this point is minus z. Minus z is represented like this. So how about z bar? So what is z bar? Z is x plus y, z bar is conjugate, that means it becomes x minus y. So x to the positive side and plus I into minus y. We can write I into minus y. So y unit downwards, Okay, so this will become z bar, that means x minus I. So what this point is? If I go up, so what I get here? See, it is minus x, then going up means positive y, minus x plus iy. That means if you take minus common, x minus iy. X minus iy is what? Z bar. So this is minus z bar. See, it is z bar, it is minus z bar. It is z, it is minus z. So this type of this plane is called z plane, and the diagram is called Argand diagram. Okay, this diagram is called Argand diagram. This is called Argand diagram. Now let's discuss a little bit more on theta, that is principal value. Okay, suppose this point P, this is theta 1, so this is in the first quadrant. First let's start from here. Okay, we'll start from here and check all the possibilities. So we'll start from here. Okay, then we'll go to here, then P2, then any general point within second quadrant P3, then we'll go to x-axis again, then we'll come to here third quadrant, again negative y-axis, again we'll come to P7, that is in the fourth quadrant. So for P1, so for P, first P is what? Theta 1 is, it is what? Tan inverse, theta is always tan inverse y by x. Okay, so it has only x component, x plus, it is what? X plus I into 0. Actually it is x comma 0, so in a complex form we can write it as this. Okay, so y is 0, x as it is, so 0 by this, tan inverse 0 equal to 0. So theta 1 is 0. For P, theta 1 equal to 0. P1, it is in second quadrant, first quadrant, sorry. So we know that principal value will be pi to minus pi, this equal. Principal amplitude or principal argument, the range is this. But it is in the first quadrant, and I am not considering P here, because for P I have seen the special case here. I am seeing within P and P2, P1 is there. So what it will happen? So suppose this is anything x plus iy. So here theta 1 should be pi by 2 to 0. So maximum value pi by 2 and minimum 0. Within this, the principal amplitude should be present. Okay, theta 1 should be present with this range. For P2, again it's on y-axis, so theta 1, we can say theta 1 is all straight away, this is pi by 2. P3, this is more than 90 degree. Okay, so what the range was? Pi here minus pi here, so it is pi to pi by 2. So here I will write smaller one, pi by 2, here the greater one, pi. So pi to pi by 2. Then again P4. P4 is again negative real axis. X axis is called real axis, y axis is imaginary axis, because pure imaginary point like 0 comma y or 0 plus I y. Okay, if 0 comma y is always present in y axis, so I can write 0 plus I y, that is a purely imaginary number. Okay, that is present on y axis. So this is axis in the z plane, this is called imaginary axis, this is real axis. So you go to P4. P4, P4, in that P4 it's again what is theta 1 become 180 degree, okay, means pi. So range is less than equal to pi to minus pi. So I can write less than equal to, so equal to pi is permitted, so I will take theta 1 as pi, okay. So theta 1 will be pi. Don't confuse, this is just a simple thing. Initially you need to be a little bit careful, then it will be easier. P5 is what? P5 is this to this, but you cannot take, see, if you go to the anti-clockwise direction it becomes greater than pi, theta 1 becomes greater than pi. So but the general limit or general range is this. For principal value, general range is this. So if it is greater than pi, you cannot take that value. So consider in clockwise direction. So if this P, this line has a angle theta 1 in anti-clockwise direction like this, so clockwise direction we can have this angle. Theta 1 can be in this way also. So here theta 1 will be represented in this way only because this is in this range, okay. 0 to pi and again 0 to minus pi. In that way we have to consider. We cannot cross pi. So now what is this? This will be then from clockwise if you consider, so this is minus pi by 2, this is minus pi. So minus pi to minus pi by 2. So minus pi theta 1 minus pi by 2, okay. P6 is what? P6 is again on the y-axis, so the angle becomes this. Clockwise direction 90 degrees, so this is minus pi by 2, and the last point is P7, okay. So P7 is what? Again clockwise direction, but what will be theta 1 here? It will be 0, it is 0, it is minus pi by 2. So minus pi by 2 and 0. Okay. So these are different, all the possibilities I have considered for a principal value of a complex number. Okay. So I think it's clear. Okay. Now we will see. We have represented Z1, Z2. We know that we can represent any number in a complex plane or Z plane. So how can we represent Z1 plus Z2? So we have seen that how to represent Z1, any complex number in a Z plane. So we will now see how to represent Z1 plus Z2, summation of any two complex numbers. So let's draw the x dot, xo, x dot, yo, y dot. Suppose this is a point Z1. Now let's name it P, whose coordinate is Z1, means x1 plus I, y1. We have added this. Now this is point Q represented by Z2. Z2 means x2 plus I, y2. So I will add these two. What is Z1 plus Z2? Z1 plus Z2 is represented like if we can draw a parallelogram using OP and OQ as their two sides, adjacent sides, then what it becomes? It might not be a good parallelogram, but for the understanding it's okay. So this PQ, this point, suppose this is R, okay. This point R is actually Z1 plus Z2. z1 plus z2 means x1 plus x2 plus I into y1 plus y2, or we can represent this point like x1 comma y1, this is x2 comma y2, this is x1 plus x2 comma y1 plus y2. Now how it is coming like this, okay? So for that, try to prove that one. Let's draw a perpendicular here, from here draw a perpendicular here, from here perpendicular, and from here draw a perpendicular. Let's name it M, N, S, T. Now see, this is perpendicular and this is also perpendicular, so this angle is 90 degree, okay, and this is opposite side of a parallelogram, so sides are parallel and equal. Again this is x-axis and this is parallel to x-axis, so again this angle becomes this angle. So actually these two triangles are becoming congruent, okay. So PS is what? PS is OT. See, PS becomes OT, and OT is what? This one x2 comma y2. So definitely this is what? This is x2. This is x2. And this is y2. So OT is x2 and QT is y2 by its normal coordinate. OT and TQ are x2 and y2. And we know OM is what? As the coordinate of z1 is x1 comma y1, so OM is OM becomes x1. OM becomes x1. So MP becomes y1. Now what is OM? Because coordinate of R is ON comma NR. Actually it is this. The value we are saying this, but we need to reach here. Why it is this? So ON is what? ON means OM plus MN. So OM is x1 plus MN. MN means PS. PS again, from these two congruent triangles we get PS equal to OT. OT means see, OT is, from here we get OT equal to x2. So ON, x coordinate becomes x1 plus x2. Now what is then Rn? Rn will become Rs plus Sn. Again Sn is what? This is parallel, this is parallel, so actually this is a rectangle. So Sn equal to this is equal to y1. So y1 plus this means from this congruent and triangle Rs equal to Qt. Qt is y2. So this is y2. So y1 plus y2. Okay. So see, we get to this coordinate. Now this is addition of two complex numbers. Okay. I will draw this again to show one property. We saw that this one was z1 plus z2, this is z1 plus z2, this one was z1, this one was z2. O, P, suppose Q, R. So this one was actually z1 plus z2. Now from any triangle OPQ, we know OP is less than summation of other two sides. So OQ plus PQ. OP is what? Mod of Z1 plus Z2. Why? If Z1 is x1 plus y1, we have seen that this is x1, this is y1, so this hypotenuse is actually the distance, that is root over of x1 square plus y1 square, and that is actually mod. So mod of Z1 actually is the distance from origin to the Z1. Similarly, Z1 plus Z2, distance from origin is mod of Z1 plus Z2. Okay, so OP is this less than OQ. OQ is mod of Z1 plus PQ. PQ is this. It's a parallelogram, so PQ is this, means mod of Z2. So this is again one property of the complex number, like mod of Z1 plus Z2 is less than mod Z1 plus mod Z2. Let's try to see other possibilities, like we have seen OP is less than this plus this. Now let's try to make this less than PQ. PQ is less than OP plus OQ. What this implies? PQ is what? We know this is mod of Z2 is less than OP is mod of Z1 plus Z2 plus OQ is mod of Z1. So actually mod of Z1 plus Z2 becomes greater than mod of Z2 minus Z1. Okay. Now consider this one is less than this plus this. So this one is equal less, means mod of Z1. This is less than mod of Z1 plus Z2 plus this, means mod Z2. So Z1 plus Z2 greater than mod of Z1 minus mod of Z2. See, mod of Z1 plus Z2 is greater than mod Z2 minus mod Z1. Again, it's greater than mod Z1 minus mod Z2. So combining is these two, we can say it is mod of this minus this. Whichever you can take first and whichever you can take as the second one, just subtract it, and if the value is negative or positive, take a mod of that one and it is greater than that. Okay, so we have two important properties here. Mod of Z1 plus Z2 is less than mod Z1 plus mod Z2, and mod Z1 plus Z2 is greater than this. Okay, now actually these are greater than equal to. For triangle this equal to hasn't come, but if this OQP are collinear, means suppose this triangle becomes, this P falls here and Q falls here, so that triangle area becomes 0. So when OQP becomes collinear, in that case see, we have taken OP is less than OQ plus PQ, but here OQ will be OP, actually OP, here it will be OP. See here OP will be what? OQ plus this. It will be equal. OP will be equal to OQ plus QP. So this equal sign will come there. So in case of collinearity of these points, because here it is a triangle, so greater than and less than coming, but actually in general these points when collinear gives rise to this equal condition also. Okay, this equal condition. So actually this is greater than equal to and this is less than equal to. Okay, so for today we'll stop at this point, and next we will discuss more on complex number. Okay, so thank you.